This lesson covers creating a Nano server image. I cannot install Nano server from the base Windows Server 2016 media. The goal is I will create a custom image to meet my exact requirements. The base Nano server WIM file, which I can find on the Windows Server 2016 media, if I go to the Nano server folder on the media, I would see a WIM file. I'll also see a packages folder that has all the additional components that I could add to it. So I will go ahead and create my own Nano server image that I will then deploy. I take the files from the Nano server image generator folder and copy them to my own work machine, to my Nano build location. Once I have this, I would open up PowerShell and I will create a script that I will leverage to actually build my image. So I have a PS1 file that I've previously created. And here you can see I'm going to import in the PSM1 file, that's a PowerShell module, so it understands the special commandlets related to managing a Nano server image. I also need to give it a password, so I'm going to actually just create a secure string, which will become the local password for that machine. I specify a path that I wish to use. I'm still in my remote Nano server, so I'm going to exit, and you can see I'm in my Nano build folder. I will then import in that module, and I'm going to use the new Nano server image commandlet. I have to give it the path to the root of my Windows Server 2016 media. I'm not specifying the Nano server subfolder. This is the root of the Windows Server 2016 media. This is where I've expanded my RTM to. The exact parameters you use will now vary depending on your requirements. And Microsoft goes through all of these in their article. Simply search for deploy Nano server, and it walks through details about every single option you may wish to leverage. In my environment, I'm going to actually pass it the latest cumulative update. So it will take the RTM media, that Nano server WIM, but inject into it KB 4010672. That's the January 2017 cumulative update. So when this new image is built, it will automatically have the latest patch. I'm giving it a base path. It will use this to temporarily copy things into. If I look at my machine, I already have various files in here. This is because I've done builds in the past. I can delete this. This will normally be an empty folder. I then give it a target path of where I wish to create my new file. I'm selecting a VHD. This will make it a Generation 1 virtual machine. If I selected VHDX, it would make it a Generation 2 virtual machine. Remember that Generation 1 is BIOS based, Generation 2 is UEFI based. I'm then giving it a computer name for this new virtual machine it's going to create. I'm telling the deployment type is guest. This will cause it to add the Hyper-V guest drivers into this new VHD file. And I'm selecting Standard Edition, but I could also select Data Center. I'm adding in the storage packages, the Windows Defender package, and enabling remote management. I'm also adding in the package for desired state configuration. I'm then giving it an unattend file. There are certain parameters I may want to set that are not standard arguments with new Nano server image, so I can actually add in an unattend file as well. My unattend file is very simple. If I look at this file, all I'm really doing is setting the time zone to Central Standard Time. If you wish to actually create your own unattend file, the best method is to use the System Image Builder. I can then actually open up an answer file. So I'll open up my unattend. I have to point it to the actual WIM file. And from here, I can just look at all the different components that are available, and I can drag and drop various parameters I may wish to set into my, for example, specialized phase. And in my case, I'm simply setting time zone to Central Standard Time, and that's my unattend file. So I don't need to change that. Then I specify the local administrator password, which is the secure string previously created. I give it a domain name. In my case, I wish it to join the domain. And I've already created this in the past. I have a Nano VM2 AD object. So I'm telling it to reuse the existing domain node, i.e. the AD account. I don't have to give it a domain credential because I'm running this from a domain joined machine. If I was not, then I could actually pass it the various credentials to give it permission to join the domain, and it would essentially use djoin to pre-join this new image into Active Directory. At this point, I can simply run this. This may take some time because I'm also adding in that latest cumulative update. If I go and look at the file system, I'll see it's going to start populating that base folder. It's copied over the WIM file. It's now generating a new virtual hard disk. It will bring over the various packages that it needs. It will then just build me my VHD file in this base folder. Here we can see it's actually going through. If I jump back over, it's still running. It's now applying the various unattend.xml. It's adding in the various packages and just building out my custom VHD. Here I can see it's now adding in the guest package. This will make it possible to run as a Hyper-V virtual machine. It's just carrying to build out that VHD file that it's generating. It's now adding in desired state configuration. Now you can see it's actually added in that cumulative update, KB4010672. That means when this boots, there'll be no patching for me to do. That installation is completed. It's now dismounting the image that it mounted. I have my Nano server VHD file. This took a fairly long time because I applied that cumulative update. I generally would not recommend this approach. It's better to actually apply the update to the WIM file, and then all Nano server VMs will automatically have it pre-installed. Now I want to demonstrate the end user experience. I'm going to take this VHD file and move it over to my virtual machines area for my Nano VM2. I'm going to delete its current VHD and paste in this new one. If I now go to my Nano VM2, I had already removed its disk. Notice it's a generation 1, it's using an IDE controller. I'm going to add in that VHD I just copied to it. This will be the first time it has ever turned on. I'll now take this disk on this VM and I'll select Start. You can double click it. It's going through all of the various specialized phases that you have to do on a first boot, making sure that domain join, and it's done. So this is the first time this brand new Nano has ever actually been used, but it's finished already. If I now type in a credential in that domain, I'm done. And my time is correct, it's the right time zone. At this point, I could just utilize this in whatever fashion was my target for this new server. I can also add capabilities post-deployment using standard Powershell and editing the Nano server image in the same method that we can patch it, which I will show in a later lesson.